We are all longing to get back to doing things that were once part of our daily routine, whether that's going for a drink, having a meal out, doing some exercise, or even getting that long-awaited haircut. Today, the Prime Minister told us that we are now one step closer to that happening again.
We set out our roadmap and we're sticking in it. And I want to stress that we see nothing in the present data that makes us think that we will have to deviate. And on Monday the 12th, I will be going to the pub myself and cautiously but irreversibly raising a pint of beer.
As restrictions are lifted to avoid going back into lockdown, the government is reviewing the use of COVID passports, which might be needed for a range of activities.
You can give reassurance to others if you go to a big mass event. Number one is your immunity. So if you had the virus before in the last, or certainly in the last 6 months, you'll have the antibodies. Number two, obviously, is vaccination status. But number three is testing.
And that will remain a key part of the government's plans to avoid a spike in cases. From later this week, a new scheme will be launched where everyone in England will have access to 2 rapid coronavirus tests every 7 days. How much compliance do you need for that to actually work? And how can you be confident that it will work, given that compliance levels of test, trace and isolate was so low?
Lateral flow tests are effective at picking up people who are infectious. They're not 100% effective, so a negative doesn't mean you absolutely haven't got it, but a positive is useful to identify those people who then need to isolate. And you're right that testing alone isn't what matters. It matters if you're positive, and it's a true positive, you isolate.
But experts are urging some caution on those proposals.
It's terribly, terribly hard to test oneself. The temptation is not to do it properly, not because we're bad people, but because it hurts. So there's a tendency to underestimate. There also might be a tendency, to do it less if you think that might end up with you being, laid off work or unable to go to work. More testing is better than less testing, but let's not, deceive ourselves into thinking that it's anything that it's not.
As the government continues to take us out of lockdown, finding the balance between easing restrictions and keeping us safe remains the challenge. Shihab Khan, ITV News.